Listen, a couple of quick hacks to get approved for their dream home. And the last one might be the most important. All three are very important. The last two might be the most important because it might not be the obvious. But jot these down and make sure you do this if you're trying to get in position to buy a home. Now, many people understand the importance of buying a home, but I always recommend when you buy a home, aim to buy it the right way. What do I mean? When you buy a home, you want to buy it so that you're not upside down for a very long time. You want to make sure you don't buy more home than you can afford. You want to buy a home that allows you to be able to accidentally pay it off with ease because you made more than enough income to justify the monthly payment. So many times people max out what they qualify for when I don't believe they should. And this is not a hack. This is just me just giving my perspective based on what we did. And we bought a home that was off the market, bought it with some equity already in it. So it put us in a different position to where we're not upside down with the home and we can handle whatever fluctuations might come from different things that may change from property taxes, etc. So it's a good mindset to have when it comes to buying a home. So now that we got that out the way, when it comes to buying a home, of course you probably already know about having a good debt to income ratio, meaning that you don't have too much debt in comparison to your income. A good threshold is, and it depends on what lender you're working with, but some people want you to be under 47% debt to income ratio, meaning that your income is far more than what your debt is to the tune of 47%. So if you have $47,000 in debt, but you make $100,000 in income a year, then you can qualify just on that basic level. You met the threshold of qualifying because you're right under that 47%, if that makes sense. So make sure you're getting your debt to income down. The way you do that is by paying down your debts, by making sure that your debt is being lowered so that when they pull your reports, they're able to see, okay, this person is taking care of their business and they're not in a bind when it comes to paying for their home. So get that debt to income ratio down. Once you get the debt to income ratio down, that also helps with boosting your score because lower balances equal more points, especially when it deals with credit cards. You can boost your score up to 165 points just by lowering your credit card debt. Ideally, you want your credit cards to be reporting under 5%. I know sometimes people tell you 30%. Under 5% helps you maximize how many points you can get from it, and it saves you a ton on interest. So getting that debt to income down is number one on what you need to do in order to position yourself to qualify for that home that you desire and deserve to have. Number two, when it comes to buying a home, especially if you are self-employed or have some self-employed income, entrepreneur, you're filing a Schedule C or things of that nature, you really want to position yourself so that when you file your taxes, you're not taking so many tax deductions that it look like you didn't make much money. Now, I'm big on tax deductions. I'm big on lowering your tax liability. I'm big on a person keeping good records and making sure that they're doing things so that the things they're already doing anyway are tax deductible. So now it makes the expenses that you have offset your income so that you legally pay less in taxes and keep more of your money. Why is that important? Well, the biggest bill that a person is going to pay is typically going to be their taxes. So I'm big on lowering their tax liability. However, when it comes to buying a home, if you maximize your tax deductions, sometimes it might look as though you initially made $100,000, but you had so many tax deductions that it looks like you made $40,000, just as an example. Well, would that $40,000 income qualify you for the home that you were trying to buy that might be $400,000, just as an example? So understanding that positions you to get with whoever is preparing your taxes, and you say, you know what, I am aiming to buy a home, so I don't want to have my tax, my income, my gross income, or my net income to be too low. You don't want your net income specifically to be too low because it might limit what you're able to qualify for. So a lot of times people don't understand that, and they still take all the tax deductions that they can, not knowing that it can hurt. So that's number two. Now the third hack is, and what I feel may be the most important, and this is especially for someone who has some errors or some inaccuracies or derogatory items on their credit report. A lot of times people are ready to go ahead and start disputing and get things removed, which is something that I, strongly suggest due to the fact that a lot of times it's errors, inaccuracies, just code violations that's keeping your score from being less than ideal. However, lenders don't tend to like to see a lot of disputes on your report before you apply for a home. Reason being, they look at it like, okay, if this person has already been disputing items off their credit report, then what makes me think that they may not get the home and then dispute and act like they don't owe this debt and now they don't pay us our money? See, you got to think about it from an angle of them and how they view the asset and what it is that they're doing when they provide access to the funds necessary in order for you to buy the home. So if they're looking at it like you're constantly disputing things and all of these disputes on here, they're like, okay, this person is highly likely to be disputing us in the future. So why should we approve them on the money? So it's a red flag in their eyes. Instead, because this doesn't mean don't dispute at all, because you might be wondering, how do I go about cleaning it up then? If I don't dispute and I still got the negatives, then I'm still in the bind. So how do I go about cleaning it up? Well, what you want to do is, especially if it's collections and charge-offs and things of that nature, is dispute those companies directly. Dispute them directly. And I'll give you one gem. When it comes to debt collections, a lot of times you want to dispute them directly and get them to provide what's known as an assignment, a validation of assignment. We have these letters that we send out for our clients and provide to, those who are part of our ecosystem. And what happens is when you make them have to prove that they have the right to collect on their debt, which is known as the assignment, now they have to justify that they are legally operating in a manner that even allows them to be reporting on your credit profile, let alone collect the money from you. And many times they start backpedaling because they're like, damn, I ain't expect them to ask for the assignment in order to prove that we have the right to collect this debt. And what you may even find is that some of these companies are operating illegitimately, unlawfully, don't even have the true qualifications to even be debt collectors, shouldn't even be operating in your state. So it's crazy, but they use fear tactics because they know when a person sees that they owe something and they feel like it's going to hurt their credit, they're like, okay, we need to go ahead and make this payment. Not knowing that this company was operating unlawfully altogether. They just want to collect anything that they can. And once they collect anything that they can, then they won. But when you understand that they have to validate that they had an assignment to collect on their debt, now you move different. And this helps because now when you do that and you get things removed because you address them directly, it's not showing as though you did all of these disputes when it comes to disputing the main three: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So it makes a bit of a difference in addition to everything else that I said. So hopefully those are helpful in terms of you understanding what it needs to, what it takes in order for you to be on track to qualifying for that home. Number one, that's an income ratio. Start getting it down. Number two, don't have so many tax deductions to where it looks like your net income is too low and it may not position you to qualify for what it is that you truly want to qualify for. And then number three, making sure that you don't have too many disputes that it draws a red flag for them, making them not want to even lend to you anyway. If we can help you anyway in terms of your credit, let us know. Mr. Smith signing out. Salute.